What's the most you spent on a piece of memorabilia?
Guitar or
Baseball.
or baseball? Oh, I don't know. Over 100 grand I have spent. Yeah.
But you
I
got uniforms. You got uniforms as well, bats as well.
Yeah, I really tried to focus on single sign baseballs or game used baseballs. But it's also fascinating to me that sometimes in a bat, like I have a bat that might have been used by Joe Jackson, but it's one of his signature bats. And how do you not try to grab that if you're a collector? I have a lot of personal memorabilia that I would never part with for my collection. Stuff like I have Bill Lee's uniform. The day that he freaked out in the Montreal Expos clubhouse because Rodney Scott had been traded, he took off his Expos uniform, tore it up, and then headed to the bar across the street to have a few pints. And Jim Fanning picked up, who was the manager of the Expos at the time, he picked up the uniform and kept it all these years. And I got to know Jim through Larry Walker, who's a friend of mine, and a really nice family. And they, allowed me to purchase it from them for my collection. But that's something that's so special because I'm a Canadian and because the Expos were my first real passionate love.
I have an autographed baseball from Joe Carter and Mitch Williams on a World Series baseball. They both signed that year that they, I don't know what it's worth, but I visited both of them that off season after Joe hit the home run, and I asked Joe if he would sign it, and then Mitch signed it as well. But what struck me though, Geddy, is I asked Joe Carter where the home run ball was, and he said right there in the kitchen. So I open up a kitchen drawer, and the ball rolls out, and I go, "That's one of the most famous baseballs in history." He goes, "Yeah, but I gave it to my wife. It wasn't in a trophy case. It was in a junk drawer."
Well, this is, he played the game. So to him, it's just a tool of the trade. Sometimes it's like that. I have memorabilia from Rush, passes and things from important gigs and shows, and, they're just collecting in some drawer or something. So I understand that feeling. Whereas if it was from baseball, for me, that would be just sacrosanct. You've got to put it in a special place.
You have a baseball signed by the Beatles?
I do. Yeah.
And that's
signed by the Beatles. Yeah. At Shea Stadium, at that gig, that famous gig they did at Shea Stadium in the 60s.
What do you think that'll go for?
I have no idea, but it could go very high. It could very well be one of the highest selling items in the sale.
What are the top end items you think as far as this auction at Christie's?
Well, it's hard for me to guess. I'm so close to these things, and I've had so many of them for decades. But the Beatles ball for sure. I think that some of the presidential stuff, especially the John Kennedy first pitch, 1961. I mean, that's an amazing ball. I was very fortunate to acquire. And in fact, I was very fortunate to acquire a few John Kennedy signed baseballs. And, in fact, in 1961, he's one of the few presidents that threw a first pitch out to both teams. That's a Democrat. There's some other great things. I have Johnny Vandermeer's final outs from his back-to-back no-hitters. That's pretty darn special, man.
See, that one is wild. We'll never have that again. And the fact that you got the final out on both of those no-hitters.
Yeah, I had to have them both. It's the same with the Kennedy 61 signed balls. I bought the first one that's also signed by Lyndon Johnson many, many years ago. And I thought it was the only one. And then up pops this other one on sit for sale, and it's the other team. And I thought, well, this has got to be a fake because I have the original one. But it turns out he did, in fact, throw two pitches out that day.